The soft skills would be, to me, would be like relating to people, how you interact with them, your communication. And I think you have to show adaptability when things do not always work. You have to show that you can adapt, you're flexible, and you always have to have hope and always wish for the best. You don't want to be bringing on negativity or like, oh, this won't work, whatever. I think you have to be creative and try new things for advancement, and for innovation.
Welcome to the Poultry Podcast Show, brought to you by Wisenetics. I'm Doug Corver, dedicated to bringing you the latest insights and discussions in the poultry industry. Get ready to expand your knowledge and stay ahead with today's episode. If you find this episode interesting, please remember to visit our website at wisenetics.com. Our guest today is Dr. Teresa Morishita, who is Professor of Poultry Medicine and Food Safety and former Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at Western University of Health Sciences College of Veterinary Medicine. That's a mouthful. Dr. Morishita attended the University of California, Davis, and she received a dual doctorate of veterinary medicine and Master of Preventative Veterinary Medical degree. She completed a residency in avian poultry medicine from UCD and became a diplomate of the American College of Poultry Veterinarians. She also earned her PhD in comparative pathology from UC Davis. She's worked in the commercial poultry industry in California and has served as a consultant for the West Coast clients in the pharmaceutical industry. She also writes a monthly poultry health column, Fowl Talk, in Poultry Press, and she was the veterinary advisor for the United Peafowl Association. Since 2009, Dr. Morishita has also served as the veterinary advisor for the Galliformes Taxon Advisory Group of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Dr. Morishita has also authored numerous publications, and she is the co-editor of Backyard Poultry Medicine and Surgery, a guide for veterinary practitioners and game bird medicine and management. Teresa, thanks for joining us today. That is an impressive resume.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you here. And as we go through the interview, it's maybe not our typical poultry health interview. So I'm looking forward to talking with you. You have a really interesting history, a really diverse CV resume. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get to where you are now?
Well, I guess starting out in my undergrad at the University of Hawaii, and getting exposed, working with, I always liked birds. And I didn't know you could specialize in birds until I went to vet school. And one of my professors had encouraged us to go into poultry. And I've always had family members that have raised, poultry commercially before. So I thought I would like to do that because it's a new thing. I get to work with bird species. And so it was kind of an adventure that we developed my own curriculum in vet school, which UC Davis allowed for me and two other classmates that were interested in birds as well.
Oh, that's interesting. So you've always kind of had that avian interest.
Yeah, and dairy cattle.
Okay. The industry is thankful that poultry avian species won out.
Poultry Star from DSM Firmenich is a poultry-specific product that combines the benefits of probiotics and prebiotics to enhance gut health. The probiotic strains in Poultry Star are isolated from healthy birds, not soil, ensuring excellent adaptability. The prebiotics support the growth of beneficial bacteria, creating a balanced gut environment. Poultry Star is ideal for use during key stress periods, after antibiotic treatments, and when transitioning between feeds. With over 20 years on the market, it's a proven way to boost your bird's health and performance. Learn more at dsm-firmenich.com/poultrystar.
So you're the founding director of the Poultry Health Management School, which will celebrate its 25th anniversary next year in 2026. Can you tell us a little bit about the school? What's the goal of the school?
Well, the goal of the school is initially we developed that, my colleagues and I in the Midwest, I was at the time I was working at the Ohio State University, and I had colleagues at Purdue University, Michigan State, and University of Wisconsin, and we wanted to help the producers in our state to provide continuing education and to meet with academic people as well as the industry people, because everybody should work together and to help solve disease issues or other management issues, and working together from all the different disciplines. So I mean, I'm a veterinarian, but we have nutritionists and as well as the industry veterinarians, and all working together to help support our regional poultry industry. And gradually that has expanded throughout the nation. And we do have some international visitors that come to our school as well.
So is that part of the veterinary curriculum at Western University, or is that something that people from other vet schools or veterinary practitioners come?
No, this is actually target to the flock service supervisors, live production managers, veterinarians new into the field for the poultry industry, or new employees in the allied industries, so that they can all learn about some of the current issues facing that. And so it's not with a curriculum, it's more like we do it for the poultry industry and continue education for producers.
Okay, well, that's great. So does it focus mainly on a California audience, or you talked about international visitors, but are there national participants?
Yes, national, but actually the school started in the Midwest. So for 24 years, we've been having it in the Midwest, rotating through the different schools there. And this year, the 25th anniversary, is the first time it's going to be out west.
Oh, okay.
We also have people from Canada as well, too. So it's really good that everyone joins together. We hear of other disease issues, and everyone working together to solve, or, somebody has ideas, they can share it with other people to help work on whatever disease matters or issues that need helping. So it's more like a sharing of ideas, and for younger people to network with others.
So over the years, I imagine that you've worked with a lot of different people and a lot of different kinds of people. So how do you approach, let's say, working with students? How do you base your interactions, or what are some of the key principles that you use?
In any interaction with people, you have to be honest and have integrity, and, try to help other people. I always feel that if you know how they say, like, to be kind to everybody, to try and help someone. So I know initially that we started this school, we wanted to help people that are young in our careers, and we want them to be successful too. I know as we started, we also have our mentors and we have help like that. So for the poultry industry, and as being fairly new people, we wanted to get everybody together and to help ensure, like, the younger people are successful, because they will be our future as well. And so even like handling students as a professor there, we want to encourage all the students that are interested in poultry and take them so-called under our wing, and help them to be successful, or to try and explore the different areas of the poultry field, because there are so many. You can some people might want to be in research, they can advance research in the area. Others want to work in the industry, and that's good too, right? And so, and yet have a basic of we're all doing a job to help improve the poultry industry. So why not all work together with a common shared goal, right? But you have to have that feeling of helping others, definitely.
So some of the things that you talked about might be considered soft skills. So how would you define soft skills?
Well, I guess the opposite would be technical skills. So being the best that you can be. But the soft skills would be, to me, would be like relating to people, how you interact with them, your communication, and I think you have to show adaptability when things do not always work. You have to show that you can adapt, you're flexible, um, and you always have to have hope, you know, and always wish for the best. You don't want to be bringing on negativity or like, oh, this won't work, whatever. I think you have to be creative and try new things for advancement, you know, and for innovation.
So I think that soft skills are really important for avoiding a misalignment of expectations or avoiding misunderstandings or dealing with those situations when they arise. So how can we be better listeners?
Well, they always say that you should be active listening. So you should be listening to what the other person is talking to and not be distracted, right? And so that would be one of the things. And give them your time. I think that's really important that, you don't be distracted by other thoughts or other things going away. And I just communicating with people, and how would you like to be treated if you're talking? Nobody wants to be like ignored, right? And treat people how you would want to be treated.
And listening is one side of a conversation, but how can we communicate more effectively?
I think being like, if you can do direct communication, that would be best. Like they always say, like some people that don't want to do it, but they'll do it, and then it'll be like passive aggressive. So you don't want that kind of thing. So you should do what you say you're going to do, or, if you don't agree, it's okay. I think like in our administration here, we always say that it's okay to disagree because that means other people are thinking. And it's okay to disagree. That doesn't mean you hate the other person because you disagree, but that's good. It's good for advancement of things. And I know that in our administrative style, we want people to disagree with us. And because if we have some weakness, we know that if someone can tell us that maybe that's not the best thing to do, you can make your program stronger, So you have to listen to that feedback.
Yeah, and I think, personally, it's important to me to understand what a person's viewpoint is and why they think something differently than I do. It also forces me to think about, why do I think this particular way, or why do I have this particular opinion? So what about in terms of communicating expectations to someone that's working for you or students that come into your program? Is clarity important? Clarity of expectations?
I think clarity is important because they have to know what their expectations are. You can explain to that you have a goal for them, but also it's important to get their feedback on what they want to do as well too, because everyone has a feedback and nobody wants to be told what to do. Or like one of the things that we have for our people that you supervise or lead is, what do they think about a certain topic, so you can get their input as well, because when people feel invested, then they're more likely to all work together as a team. Right? Because you got to get the input. You're not there to be a dictator and tell what you need to do, because everybody has opinions on what it could be made better, and that's how you can strengthen or better support like programs, is to get people's feedback. So when they always say, and I think I have this on my website, like little quotes, like if nobody's saying anything or nobody's disagreeing, then nobody's thinking, right? Because if everybody thinks alike, then nobody's really thinking or coming up with new innovations or things. So that's what we really want to hear.
Yeah, and as scientists, we should be ready to debate and discuss ideas.
And the other thing that I think is really important is that if you feel everybody makes mistakes, because the only way you learn to be better is by making mistakes. And so, like, if you said, like, what would I do for a student or someone that I supervise? If you give something and they make a mistake, it's okay. It's not a fatal error. You know, they can learn from it and be better. And so, a lot of people may, well, not, I wouldn't say a lot, but maybe some people might see, oh, someone failed in that thing or they didn't accomplish a thing. You talk to the person, what could you make it? What could be better? And you give them another chance. And many of the times they will do it, and achieve their success. They'll learn. So you got to give people a chance to come back from that mistake.
If you're enjoying this episode of the Poultry Podcast Show presented by Wisenetics, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. You can also set the notifications to on from our channel so you don't miss any other upcoming episodes. As always, please feel free to leave your comments at any time. Your feedback is always important to us. So let's talk a little bit more about the application of soft skills. What do you think are some of the common weaknesses, let's say, amongst administrators or supervisors when they're dealing with people that work for them or their students? Where are some of the common pitfalls?
I think for some of it is the leadership style. And I do believe in all the leadership training and watching my own mentors, having a servant type leadership that you help to serve others rather than yourself. And we can know, all of us are qualified to do whatever job we are, but it's a job. And the real thing is we as human beings and how we treat other people, So I might be a specific area like a veterinarian, but that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else who's not a veterinarian. And I think you have to approach your leadership that everybody can make I lost that word, but everyone can make an impact on whatever they do because everyone has ideas. Everybody's thinking about things, how they could be better. And you have to make an environment that people feel okay to disagree with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important. What about in the other direction? So what about what are some common pitfalls, for example, for students in communicating with their supervisors or an employee communicating with their employer? Are there particular things that people should watch for?
I think as a student, you should always give respect to your supervisor, but I think you should also let them know how you feel as well, too, that you're honest about that. If there's something, because being in grad school and having grad students and you hear of other labs, I think what really happens is that people might not be upfront or say what they need. You hear stories of people just starting out, and maybe a professor is just starting out too, and it's not like sharing of like research or something, like there are some people who try to grab everything and take credit for that and not share the credit. I think that's hurtful in either way, because there's nothing wrong but sharing with things. And like you said, for some leaders that I think are difficult that, both you and I have encountered, some people are like, I'm the boss, I'll say what goes, and I won't listen to anybody else. And I think that's where there might be a lack of flexibility. You also need some emotional intelligence in dealing with people. And I think like boiling it down is just being honest doing an honest day's work and doing your best at what you do for all the abilities that you have trained and all your technical skills, but then always be kind to other people, you know, and take people's feeling into consideration. So you would always say, like, how would I feel if I was treated that way? Maybe you wouldn't like that. So before you treat other people, you should always be thinking like that.
Yeah, exactly. That empathy piece is very important.
And having mercy and compassion.
Over your career, how did you develop your soft skills? I mean, none of us come in, some people are inherently more adept at interpersonal communications, but all of us need to learn. So what were some of the key things that you did, or that the opportunities that you had that helped you develop your soft skills?
I think that watching other people, watching your mentors, how they're treated, or how they treat you, and what makes you, I guess, when you're younger and just starting out, and if you have good mentors that help you and have confidence in you, have faith in you to do the stuff, it makes you learn and you have a positive experience from that. And so I just remember, like, when you're getting started, you can meet at our scientific meetings, or anyone, you can meet people, and some people won't even give you the time of day, right? Because they're well known, they're famous, but they don't treat those that are starting out and they won't even talk to you. But then there's other people that you see that are world famous that talk to you and sit to you. And I remember being at a conference, and this one person came and just talked, like as if I was their colleague, even though they were a world famous professor and I'm just starting out as a resident. And I was very impressed with those people. And I said, if I would like to be like that when I grow up.
Yeah.
I think when you see people that just impact you and do that, you say, wow, that's really nice, or they're really nice. And I remember, like, when I was a student and there was something done and I needed to get a letter from my advisor, and it was like last minute. And he was even on a vacation in Tahoe because I went to UC Davis. But you know what? He did it anyway. And now, as a professor, if I have any students that need help, I always remember that when I was a student, and you might not expect it, but you need something right away, and they take the time to do it. So I will take the time for my students, or as an employee as well too, So I think people learn from that, how other people treat you, and you say, wow, thank you very much, And I said, if I ever get to that level, I will do that as well.
Yeah, that's great advice. And just to follow up on your point about meeting people at scientific meetings and the world famous researchers taking the time to talk to you. That was my experience as a graduate student at my first Poultry Science Association meeting, and it's been like that ever since. And so that's my plug for poultry science. So, but yeah, it really had a huge impact on me. Just that willingness of people whose papers I read and whose work I really respected, being willing to talk to a lowly grad student. And I think as supervisors, as academics, as grad student leaders, we don't always remember that impact that kind of relationship or that kind of relationship building can have on people. So
now that we're older, we should do the same, because I mean, like you had the experience too, right? I mean, some people come down and will talk to you and others won't.
Yeah. So It's good advice to remember the good examples that we've had in our own career over the years, and then we can also learn from maybe some of the bad examples as well.
I think it's also good. I was on this at Ohio State. I was on this agriculture leadership group that they had chosen, and I know we had to take all these Myers-Briggs and everything, and emotional intelligence. It's probably good to take that too, so you have something evaluating yourself that you can self-improve your things. But basically, I think that by learning and watching others, and you have good role models, that will help teach you, By nature, I'm not a very extroverted person, but everybody can develop soft skills, And I think basically it's just treating people with kindness, how you want to be treated, saying that when you commit yourself to do something, you do it and follow through,
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's come through in our discussion today is that, this is not something that you have to take a course in, or this is not a book that you need to read, although those can be helpful. It's really paying attention to what's going on around you and how people are treating you and how you like to be treated.
I mean, I just remember colleagues that would go around, oh, here's my business card, trying to meet everyone, but that could never be my style to do that. I would rather get to know people well,
Right.
Because I remember getting started, and a colleague of mine, they would get oh, I've got this much business cards or whatever. But I want to be if I know someone, I can recognize you somewhere else, That's the kind of network that works for me, that I like to know the people.
It's time for our famous three.
Boehringer Ingelheim develops poultry vaccines of unparalleled quality, with a focus on prevention and control across a wide range of diseases. We deliver unique, sustainable solutions for broilers, layers, breeders, and turkeys. Our veterinary network brings unsurpassed knowledge and experience, helping producers make smart, innovative, science-driven decisions to improve bird health and performance. For more information, visit poultryhealthusa.com.
Well, this has been a really interesting discussion, and thank you for your time, Dr. Morishita. But before we let you go, we've got our famous three questions. So what is your favorite poultry or agriculture-related book or resource?
My book that I would use in my profession would be Diseases of Poultry. That is from the American Association of Avian Pathologists. That would be the Bible for poultry diseases. But I also like those encyclopedia of food.
Oh, okay.
Food history.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
If you want to relate it to about agriculture. So I always find those fascinating.
What about outside of agriculture? Is there a book or a resource that you really enjoy?
I like to read the classics that I have not, that we might have read in 8th grade or some 5th grade to 8th grade. And I went back to start reading those classics. Yeah,
there's some good ones. Lots of good ones.
I also wanted to try and reread the Bible.
Yeah, that's great. Last question, and we've kind of talked about this all through our interview, but maybe you can distill it down to one key point. What do you think is the most important characteristic for a person to have to be successful in the poultry industry?
One key characteristic. Ooh, there's a couple. Kindness to others.
That's something we all need to work on.
And helping others. Or maybe altruistic would be the better term. To always have that feeling to help others, or to help the industry, to help society.
Dr. Morishita, thank you so much for joining us today on the Poultry Podcast Show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
That concludes another episode of the Poultry Podcast Show presented by Wisenetics. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to stay informed on upcoming episodes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with your family and friends and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us. You can visit our website at wisenetics.com and learn more about all of our podcast segments for poultry, swine, dairy, beef, feed mill, crops, and even pet food. I'm Doug Corver, and I'll see you next time on the Poultry Podcast Show.
Thank you.